Good evening, future Maryland home buyers. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kelly Beard, Content Specialist for Maryland Realtors, and I want to welcome you all to your Home Buying Keys webinar. Assembled tonight, we have experts in the industry. With us is our very own Director of Advocacy and Public Policy, Lisa May, Catherine Kramer-Dale from Maryland Housing and Community Development, James Hall from Freddie Mac, and our local realtor, Kelly Andrews with Eli Luxury Group Realty One Group Performance, and our lender, Nancy Cruz from Homespire Mortgage. Tonight, you will get an abundance of information to help you navigate and succeed in your home buying journey. This webinar will be recorded and sent out to all registrants after the conclusion of the webinar. We encourage your questions and we look forward to answering them. Please post all questions in the Q&A box below at the bottom of your Zoom screen. And with that, I will hand it over to Director of Advocacy and Public Policy, Lisa May. Lisa, take it away.
Will do. Thank you, Kelly, and Happy New Year to all of you out there who are joining us this evening. You know, with the new year comes resolutions, and I'm sure for many of you, maybe your resolution was to become a homeowner in 2024. But now that you've made that resolution, what comes next? What do you need to do? Well, that's why we are here tonight to kind of demystify that home buying process, walk you through the steps, and to let you know about some very cool programs and grants that are available only for future Maryland home buyers. So thank you for being with us. I'm going to walk you through introducing you to all of our guests tonight. And like Kelly said, if you have questions, we are here to answer them. So please do not be shy. Put those in the Q&A and we will get them here in front of our panelists and get you real-time answers to the information that you need to reach your homeownership goals. First up tonight, I'm going to start with our Realtor member. As Kelly mentioned, that is our other Kelly, Kelly Andrews with Eli Luxury Group and Realty One Group Performance. She is based in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. And Kelly, if I read this correctly, you are also a UMD grad. So you are like local through and through. Love it. So in that, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us what you hear the most from first-time buyers when they're entering a market like we have right now.
Well, hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I am Kelly Andrews. As Lisa said, I am a realtor with Eli Luxury Group out of Realty Group One Group Performance. I'm sorry. So the most thing that we're hearing right now is interest rates. People are so afraid to purchase right now because of the high interest rates. And so just to double down on that, what I primarily tell my clients is, I don't want to say don't worry about the interest rates because, of course, they are the ones who are purchasing the home. But it's kind of a trade-off. When we're in a market where we have a lower interest rate like we did 2 years ago, which we'll never probably reach again at 2 and 3%, the housing prices were so high. I mean, we were and so much competition going on. We were bidding 80 to 100 grand over the actual asking price. So it's kind of a trade-off. When we have a higher interest rate, the housing market seems to be a little lower. And when we have a lower interest rate, the housing market is a little higher. So I tell people that, you know, the time to purchase is when you're actually ready. And don't be afraid of the interest rates because those can always change. You can always change your interest rate. You just have to make 6 monthly payments on time. And then you can refinance when the rate gets lower. So that's pretty much primarily the question that I'm getting right now. And it's kind of keeping people from wanting to purchase is the higher interest rates. But thank God, luckily, we are coming into a market where the interest rate is lowering a little, we're seeing. So hopefully we won't have that issue too much longer.
Wonderful. And you kind of mentioned like some of the heated market that we've had in the past. So what, first time buyers, what can they expect out there?
Well, right now, while we still are in a higher interest rate, they can expect to get some assistance from Maryland Mortgage Program, other programs, community programs that are out there. We are seeing that sellers are offering seller concession, which is just seller help or credit that will assist them with the purchasing process in regards to their closing costs. So that's pretty much what we're seeing right now. It's a great time, I think, for first time home buyers, because you do have a lot of programs that are available through community grants, through different finance companies offer different grants and things to assist with down payment, as well as closing cost assistance. So I think that it's an amazing time for first time home buyers to purchase at the moment. But again, like I said, the perfect time is when they're actually ready to purchase, when they're ready to get in the groove of things and make things happen.
Great. Now, a lot of folks were hearing about, oh my goodness, there's multiple offer situations and people are having to waive home inspections, or, I don't know how I can compete with, say, all cash offers. Are those still kind of features of the market? And
Mm-mm.
okay,
No,
and
it's a great,
how are first time buyers kind of, how are they crafting offers that can get accepted?
Well, you have to have an amazing realtor, first of all, who can have, who has those negotiation skills to actually get an offer accepted. But we are not in that market right now. That was where we were 2 years ago when we were in the heat of COVID, when interest rates were down to 2% and 3%. That's when we had the market where people were waiving home inspections to be able to get a deal closed and get something ratified. Things like that. But luckily, we're not in that market right now. I have not had any issues, and I always recommend my clients get a home inspection. Ultimately, it's for informational purposes. It's their decision on whether they want to get one, but I always push for it. And I have not had any issues at all with offers being accepted with the home inspection contingency. So luckily, like I said, we're not in the market right now where we're having that issue where we're having all cash offers, or we're waiving inspection contingencies and things like that. We're just not in that market right now.
Got you. Well, you did mention a very important part of the home purchasing process, which is having a real estate professional, a realtor, working with you and really advocating for you and your interests in this transaction. But, there are thousands and tens of thousands of realtors in Maryland. So how does, particularly a first-time buyer, go about finding the right realtor for them?
Um, Sometimes that takes time. Because every realtor is not for every consumer. I would say do your due diligence. You know what you're looking for. You know the type of person you can get along with. Do your due diligence. It may take you. I've had plenty of people who've came to me who have maybe had 2 to 3 realtors in the past. Um, just speaking to people, and learning their craft, listening to how they got into business, asking questions is a big thing for realtors. I don't recommend anyone just you know meet a realtor and just hire them immediately. You know what you're looking for as a consumer, as a purchaser. So ask the big questions. Whatever questions may arise, whatever questions or things you have concerns about, just ask those questions and be communicative with with the realtor, and then you'll definitely find who fits your needs. But it may take some time. It may not be the first person that you actually come in contact with. That you may need or want to hire as your realtor. So communication is definitely key when looking for a realtor, and just making sure that they're educated, asking questions. Google is here. That's your friend. We have AI now, that people can just go on, and I mean I use AI, Chat GPT, for everything. So go on to AI, and what are some questions that I can ask if I'm, going to purchase a home. What's some great questions that I can ask a realtor? You can also put in things about yourself that will kind of strategically make up those questions for you to ask the person that you are thinking about hiring as your realtor. So just the communication process between realtor and home purchaser or home seller that's key.
And then the other part, you found your realtor. How do you find the house? I mean, unless you have unlimited means, which I'm sure, none of us here tonight have, you're going
Yeah,
to make some compromises somewhere along the way.
you
So,
are.
how do you help advise your clients figuring out which house is the right fit for them?
Um, so that definitely can be tricky, because unfortunately, everybody wants $1 million worth of house, but that is not their budget. So we, starting off with meeting a client, like I said, communication, it starts there. I have a sheet that I go over with every single client upon meeting them, upon our first interaction, going over the needs and want list. We do not have an unlimited inventory. Inventory is really scarce. So it definitely takes some skills, with looking on market, actually, going through possibly wholesalers and looking for things that are off market, because there are a lot of opportunities that are not on market, as that are not on the MLS. So my particular Rolodex is pretty vast because I've been in the business for a long time. So I go outside, just think outside the box. It may be some properties that may be for rent, that I may think is amazing for my client, just looking and breezing through. I may call the agent and say, hey, I see this listing has been on, on there for rent, for lease for such a long period of time. Has your client ever thought about selling the property? I've sold properties like that. So as the agent, because there are so many of us, we definitely have to think outside of the box. And just gaining that criteria and the knowledge of what your client is looking for and their expectations is just how I go about, finding the perfect property for my client.
Wonderful. And there are some people who are out there, maybe thinking, I know how to find a house that's something that I want. So do I really need a realtor, to help me through this purchase? But I have a feeling you have a very long laundry list of things that you do after your client finds that house.
Yeah, so a lot of people think that way. A lot of time, again, we go back to education and we go back to communication. A lot of people aren't educated about the home buying process, so they may think that, they're typically the one who pays our commission. Um, Granted, right now, I mean, I know laws are trying; they're trying to change some things around. We haven't gotten there yet, but the seller pays our commission for the most part. So a lot of times I've ran into people who said, I don't think I need a realtor. But their main reason for not wanting to have one is because of the money. They don't feel like they have the money. They're already like scrounging, going crazy about the money that they know they're going to have to come up with as far as closing costs, down payment, things like that. And they're just like, I don't have any other funds for, for anybody to help me. I can go online, I can Zillow, I can realtor.com, truly, all those things. I can find my own home. You can do all of those things, but you don't have consumers don't have access to the things that realtors have access to. You're not a realtor. You do not have the negotiation skills that we have. Like you said, there is a laundry list that we do. We have to negotiate. We have to do inspections. We have to do appraisals. We have to negotiate purchase prices. Once you do the inspection, if there's things that need to be done, you need someone there to advocate for you to get those things done. You're not familiar with going in a house and possibly knowing that there's mold there. So there are a lot of things from beginning to end when you're starting the home buying process. It's not just, bells and glitter. It's, starting the home buying process. You have to get pre-approved. Once you're pre-approved and you find your realtor, they assist you with the process. You have to go through inspection. You have EMD. You have, so many things that are entailed that are from the beginning of the process to the end. So I just pretty much go because I do run into people who don't feel like they need a realtor, just as well as people who want to sell their home for sale by owner. They don't want to pay a realtor to sell their property, but those for sale by owner homes are staying on the market 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Well, I could have sold your house 60 days ago. So again, it's very advantageous for people to have a realtor, for them to be educated about the entire process from beginning to end, so that they can be completely aware of what's going on, so that the transition can be as smooth and seamless as possible, because it's supposed to be a positive experience. It's one of the biggest purchases that you're ever going to make in your entire life. And so I ensure to my clients that, I can't guarantee you that we won't run across some road bumps, because it does happen. But as long as I educate them, and I'm there to advocate for them, and they know that I'm there for them, I'm on their side, I'm on their team, I'm fighting for them, we can get to the finish line. I don't have any issues with converting people who aren't, who don't want to actually have a realtor, to hiring me as their realtor and then referring me to others because they had such a positive experience.
Great. And Kelly, I'm going to throw you one more question. Of course, for all of our attendees out there, keep putting questions in the Q&A, and we'll continue to throw those out to our panelists throughout the evening. But Kelly, we've talked a lot about buying a home and becoming a homeowner. Do you have any, quick advice on how people stay homeowners, and how they can make homeownership be sustainable for them?
I would say live within your means. I definitely have a lot of people that may get approved for 600, $800,000, but that is not what they can typically afford with, the lifestyle that they like to live. I just say don't live beyond your means. Make sure that you are sustaining, that your income matches your spending habits. Make sure that your mortgage is going to be paid for, your HOA, your condo fees, or everything is, going to be paid for. Don't take that trip if you can't, if your mortgage is going to suffer from it. Don't purchase that new car if you're going to now be living paycheck to paycheck. Unfortunately, that's how a lot of people, are living these days. But I would just say, just try to budget, purchasing a home, especially going through these different programs and things like that. I know a lot of times they incorporate, when you go through these programs before they give you certifications, they incorporate like some type of budgeting program. If you're going through these different programs through like Maryland Mortgage Program, and they have programs in DC, HPAP and Open Doors, and all of these great programs that they have allotted for people, I would say when you're going through these things with budgeting, just maintain it and stick with it, because ownership is not easy. I owned my first home at 23, still purchasing today, but that is definitely because I'm maintaining my budget. I'm sticking with the things that I know are, have to be taken care of. And that's pretty much it.
Great. Well, I did have one quick question before we hand it over to Nancy here.
Okay.
If you're relocating to Maryland from another state, what's your first step to get started?
First step is always going to get pre-approval, and that's something that Nancy will be able to speak on later. That's our mortgage from young lady from Homespire Mortgage. That's going to always be my first step to get you pre-approved, and then it's totally up to the client. The next step, if you're going to be traveling here to Maryland from another state, we will, once you're pre-approved, we'll set up those showings. But I do have a lot of out-of-state clients. I just had a couple purchase. They were moving from New York to Maryland, well, to DC, and they purchased a condo here. And what I typically did for them was I did like FaceTime showings. I would go to the property. I would, take a video of the property, send it to them, and then kind of FaceTime them to do the showing. Over FaceTime. And so they purchased a house in New York. I did everything here for them. I did the home inspection. I sent everything to them. I went through everything. They never touched DC until they actually were coming to move in. They did their closing in New York and everything. So it really just depends on what the client's needs are. We will tailor that based on what it is that they need. Some people aren't able to move, to travel back and forth to view properties. They can't come here 2 and 3 times to visit properties. So me as a realtor, that's part of my job, for me to go out there, view the properties for you. That is my level of expertise. That is my niche. So I'm never going to put my client in a situation where, they're purchasing a home that I don't think it's going to be good for them. I will tell you in a heartbeat, this house has this issue, this issue, this issue. Ultimately, is your decision on whether you want to move forward. But that's pretty much it. We just tailor to. It's just all based on what the needs of the client is.
Isn't technology great? I love
It
it.
is
I love it.
amazing. Amazing.
Kelly, thank you so much. And if you're able to stick
Course.
around,
Of course I am.
yeah, we'll keep you online and you guys can
Yep.
keep putting questions in the Q&A. But right now we're going to turn to our next panelist, Nancy Cruz with Homespire Mortgage. And I believe, Nancy, you're based in Rockville, so kind of also in our greater DC suburb area. So talk to us about mortgage lending and getting first-time buyers qualified in 2024.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you for having me, first of all. So yeah, I'm going to be talking a little bit about the mortgage process. I work a lot with a lot of first-time home buyers. It's actually one of my favorite things to do because I'm helping you guys start with one of the most important steps that you're going to be taking, I have some slideshows I'm going to go over that's going to go over pretty much a little bit about the process, where to start, and kind of the benefits of home ownership. So give me one moment. I'm just going to put this on. Let's see.
See, I just said technology was wonderful and I spoke too soon. I'm sorry, folks. It's on me. It's on me.
Sorry about that. Are we seeing the screen?
I am not quite yet.
Not yet, but let me see if I can help too.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, here it is.
Try it now, Nancy.
It's showing on presenter mode.
I am not seeing it, Nancy, but
No?
I'll tell you what we can do. We can just go ahead and kind of talk about what's in the content of your presentation. And we can email out. We have Nancy's full presentation for all of you who registered here tonight. So we can email that out to you following this event.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Let me see real quick. Okay, let me end the slideshow. Okay.
Oh, now I see it.
Are we seeing it now?
Yep, and you just have to go to your slideshow at the top so we can see full screen. There you go.
Sorry, I have multiple monitors, so I think it just kept swapping. Okay, perfect. So we're just going to go ahead and go through the slides. It's going to talk a little bit about the homeownership process and kind of what we would have to do in order to kind of get you guys started with the process. So one of the most important things we would talk about is why own versus renting. One of the biggest things with owning is going to be every mortgage payment you make increases your share in your home's value and increases your net worth. So that's one of the biggest key things that you can take away that, obviously owning a property is going to give you. Another benefit it's going to provide you, it's going to be mortgage interest and property taxes are deductible from federal income taxes. And you can make owning less expensive than renting, especially right now in the era that we're in. It looks like rent payments are going up, not down. So that's one of the biggest things that you want to take in consideration when trying to decide right now if we want to purchase at this time. One thing to consider as well as for renting is rental payments do not contribute to your overall wealth. Anytime you're making any rent payments, you're never going to see $1 of that money that you're putting in. You're pretty much making your renter wealthy at that point. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Rental payments are not tax deductible. Once again, you're not going to see anything that you give to your renter as a renter versus when you own, eventually when you either decide to sell your property or the moment that you decide to either refinance if you want to take out some money from the property. That's one of the benefits of owning a property. I'm going to go on to the next one. Another benefit would be having a fixed rate mortgage means that you will pay the same amount every month. There are no financial uncertainties. So in this case, once again, versus rental, when you're renting, pretty much you are under the scrutiny of your landlord, and if they're going to be increasing your rent. Owning your property is going to make sure that you're going to keep your payments exactly the same. They're not going to fluctuate. So you can kind of know in the future that you can budget yourself for that amount. Another benefit would be homeownership not only provides financial security, but it also secures a place for your family to grow. So making all those memories with your family, just having a place where you can call your own. It's very important. Renting, of course, the rental payments are typical subject to an increase every year. So once again, rents are rising. Renters may be unable to renew their rental agreement. Having to move every couple of years is also another reason why you may want to own. It's definitely very annoying to have to move every couple of years in case your renter decides out of nowhere. As a renter, your landlord may decide out of nowhere they want to either sell the property or they may just not want to continue with your lease. Another benefit would be home ownership puts you in the company of neighbors who are invested in your community. Homeowners are free from the restrictions of pets and paint. So if you have any dogs or any pets, that's a big one. Especially if you have dogs in neighborhoods that, they may not want you, especially as a landlord, they may not want to accommodate your pet, or they may want to switch it up on you and next year say, hey, we don't want to allow a pet. So it's definitely a benefit. Another thing would be for renting. Rental apartments have a high tenant turnover over and over after every year. And renters have restrictions on remodeling, pets, and more. So that's obviously a drawback on that. So the first step to pretty much starting the process would be getting pre-approved. So before you get to the stage of meeting with your realtor, this is the most important part that you want to take in consideration. When you get a pre-approved, what exactly does it mean? It means that you want to pretty much set yourself up to see what you're going to be approved for, so you know exactly what you're looking for. So before house hunting, it's important to know how much home you can afford. So affordability is a very huge thing. I know Kelly touched base on that earlier, which she was saying, many times people will approve for a higher amount, but you want to kind of see where it is that you set your budget in terms of what you can afford monthly and what you would be comfortable with as well. A pre-approval from your lender will provide you an estimate of what you're eligible to borrow. So it's important to know what you're looking for, because it's going to make the process with your local realtor a lot smoother, a lot easier, and they'll be able to better navigate you towards what exactly you're looking for. So instead of looking at a pool of maybe 50 houses that may not be for you, this is going to allow you to narrow down your search and just look at houses that are in your criteria, in your price point. Your real estate agent will need this to submit a strong offer. So if you don't have a pre-approval letter, then when submitting an offer, you may not be able to get to that stage. Reason being is because as your lender, we're saying that we secured your financing and that we confirmed that we reviewed all your documents and that we can tell pretty much the listing agent at that point that you're a serious buyer and you're not going to fall through last minute because of your financing. So you've already been vetted and you are good to go. Very important, especially in the market, because if you do not have a pre-approval letter that's strong, you don't want to be thinking that you're going through the process trying to buy a house and then last minute you're like, oh no, I can't buy it in the end. So very important. Sellers and their agent will be responsive to the strength of a pre-approval letter from Homespire Mortgage. So in my case, I actually try to do full approval letters for you guys, just because in this particular case, a strong approval letter means a lot. That means I'm going to take my time to fully vet your documents to make sure that your income's completely secured, that you understand where your mortgage payment lies at, and that you have an understanding of what exactly you're looking for in the market prior to actually looking at houses. So we work as a team with me as a lender and of course your realtor to find you the house that is best suited for you. Some key things to look at is, why is my credit score so important? A personal loan consultant will review your credit report and credit score. It's important to know where your credit lies at. We take all 3 credit bureaus in consideration, but we do take the middle score in order to qualify you. So the 3 credit bureaus that we use are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and whatever your middle score is what we're going to use in order to qualify. A higher score will result in a lower interest rate and lower monthly payments. So of course, it's important to take care of your credit and make sure you keep your balances low, especially when you're getting ready to start the process of purchasing a home. One of the biggest things is, of course, the lower the interest rate, it's going to directly affect your monthly payments. So we want to give you and provide you the best payment possible, because of course it's going to beat what you're going to be paying for the future, years on the loan. There are many loan options with flexible credit requirements. We do offer FHA loans, that are going to allow you to get into a home even if you don't have that perfect 800 credit score. That's going to be perfectly customized to you based off of your current situation. So, easy mortgage checklist. What are some things we would look for in purchasing when getting you pre-approved? So most lenders are going to ask you for this list of documents. It's going to be your 2 most recent pay stubs if you work for a company, the 2 most recent years of tax returns, 2 most recent years of W-2s, the 2 most recent years full of business tax returns if you're self-employed, and the 2 most recent years of 1099s or Social Security income or retirement income if it applies. So with this checklist, this is pretty much going to be the list of documents we would require, or your local lender is going to require, in order to get you started with the approval process, so we can vet your financing and kind of help gear you towards the type of loan we would be able to offer. We do also ask for your assets. It's going to be your 2 most recent months bank statements for checking and savings, your most recent quarterly retirement statements, and of course your most recent quarterly investment account statements. So if you're going to be tapping into any of the money in your retirement or your investment accounts, we always ask to see those, just because, they may help either for some reserves or if you're going to be tapping into them just to buy your first home as well. Additional documents that we normally ask for is going to be, of course, your photo ID, mortgage statements for any current mortgages that you may own. Even if you co-signed for someone, that still counts as a mortgage statement that we would need to view. Proof of homeowner's insurance for all real estate owned. So if you currently own a property, we want to see who is insuring your property, just to make sure we have that. And of course, if you are recently divorced, we do need to see a copy of your divorce decree or separation agreement. That's an additional document if it applies. So the step number 2 after you start with the pre-approval process would be reviewing your home loan options. So once we've got all your documents, then what we're going to do is we're going to see pretty much what type of loan options we're able to offer you. As your local lender, what my job is, or what your lender's job would be kind of to gear you towards a particular loan that would best suit your needs based off of your financial situation. So we can offer you several loan options, such as an FHA loan. FHA loans help with lower credit score borrowers. So if your credit score, once again, is not a perfect 800 score, that's okay. FHA loans do allow first-time home buyers to get into a property, especially if your credit may not be at the highest point at this time. Another loan we do offer is VA loans. A VA loan is for eligible veterans. They may allow up to 0% down payment. So if you're ex-military and you are a veteran, then this may be a great loan option for you. Another one would be the USDA loan. You do get 100% financing when buying a home in a designated USDA area. So this is also another great loan option if you are in a more rural USDA area. That's definitely a great loan. We do offer VHDA loans, which are designed to make the down payment and monthly mortgage payments more affordable in the Virginia area. So this one is bound to the Virginia area if you're going to be applying for a VHDA loan. And of course, in Maryland, if you are applying in Maryland, the Maryland Mortgage Program is a great program. I actually work with them quite a bit with a lot of my first-time home buyers. So very, very good program to kind of get you into the property. So this one's designed to make the down payment and monthly mortgage payments more affordable but for Maryland residents, of course. Now, the step 3. So once you have your pre-approval, we reviewed your finances and then we chose a loan. We agreed on a loan that would best suit you. We're able to issue out an approval letter, and we're going to provide that approval letter now at this point to your local realtor, and you're going to start working with your realtor to find the house. At this point, working with your realtor. So your realtor will assist you with every step of the way at this point, narrowing your search to options that fit your needs and pre-approval options. Searching for your dream home, working with a real estate agent helps home buyers sort through an abundance of information. Your realtor is your advocate, your support, and your source for all types of information related to the process of home buying. Your realtor will handle tricky negotiating, legal terms, inspections, and introduce you to the right professionals. Your agent is called a buyer's agent because they are on your side in every way throughout the transaction. So it's really important. We work hand in hand a lot with your realtor throughout the process in order to help navigate you through the home buying process, particularly when we are negotiating terms on your contract. So that's why it's very important to have your approval and make sure that you fully understand everything that you're approved for, your payment and everything upfront, because it will make this transition with your realtor a lot easier when they're negotiating the terms for you. We do work hand in hand quite a bit in order to kind of get that ultimate goal of going under contract. So working with your realtor, once you met your dream home, it's time to make an offer. Your realtor will have the market knowledge and industry expertise to help you submit a fair offer to the seller. Their knowledge of comparable sales in the neighborhood and current market conditions will serve you well with negotiating. So they're going to help navigate you, as Kelly mentioned prior to that. Their job and her job is to pretty much navigate you through the process of getting you under contract and making sure you understand what occurs after going under contract. And submitting an offer, I should say. Working with your realtor. So when you're submitting an offer, your real estate agent will advise a fair price for the purchase of your home based on the facts. Your agent will prepare the documents to make your offer official and present it to the selling agent. The process of negotiating an offer can become lengthy. Don't get discouraged. Their job is to help you navigate through this step in the process. Now, the legal stuff. Buying or selling a home involves an extensive amount of paperwork and contracts. Your realtor will explain the terms and the documents and your signing. And if you have any questions, they'll be there to help. Now, step 4 in the mortgage process would be after you've gone under contract. What we would be doing is taking an official application at this point. So we're going to complete an initial application. At this point, you presented originally your W-2s or tax returns or bank statements. In this stage, we're going to submit an official application. So we may ask you at this point for perhaps some updated pay stubs because maybe some time has passed in order to help navigate you through the initial application. We already went through the pre-approval. Contract went ratified, which is what we discussed. So you got the contract, we're under contract. At this point is when we're going to take over again. So once both parties have accepted all terms in the writing, the contract becomes ratified. Once ratified, Homespire Mortgage can begin the rest of the process. So I would take over at this point. The file is submitted to our underwriting. In this stage, we submit it to our underwriter for review. They're going to help process and review your documents once again. So they're going to vet your documents another time. And they may come back at this point and maybe ask for some documents if they need anything else to kind of clarify. We'll get an approval after that from the underwriter, kind of going over the conditions to satisfy the approval. And once we've met all these conditions, we will be officially clear to close and be able to take you to closing at this point. So step 5, that's our last step. Of course, the most happy step, we're going to be going to closing. And at this point, things to expect at the closing table is closing is when you officially legally become the owner of your home. At closing, your signature will be notarized on various loan and title documents, making you the official owner of the home. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask for clarifications as they're discussing the documents for you, prior to signing. It is typical for funds to be sent for closing by wire to the title company. Check with the closing title company for this specific information to safeguard the transfer of your funds. And of course, it's important you have to bring your photo ID at closing in order to, verify that you're the party that's supposed to be signing at the closing table. Just any advice for closing day would just be arrive early, give yourself plenty of time, plan to spend about an hour at the closing. Once the last document is inked, you'll be handed the keys, and congratulations, you are a happy homeowner now. Yeah, so that's it. My contact information's here if you guys have any additional questions. I'm happy to answer them. Like I said, I'm here to help kind of guide any through the process.
Nancy, thank you so much. And I do want to leave enough time for our other presenters, but we had some very good questions come in from our participants tonight. So we'll try to do those kind of like rapid fire.
Yeah.
First one, we did talk about how interest rates are a little bit higher now than they have been in the previous year. So what can you tell us about using points to pay down your interest rate?
Yes, so points pretty much, if it makes sense to pay down in points, it's going to help reduce your interest rate. So what that means is that your lender may offer you options when they're going to when they're at the point of locking your loan. They may say, hey, do you want to pay a point, which is the equivalent to 1% of your loan amount, right? Or they may say you want to pay half a point. That may make the difference in order to lower your interest rate, perhaps from a 7 to maybe a 6.5, right? What that means is that your mortgage payment is going to be reduced, right? So sometimes it makes sense. It just depends on how much these points are costing you. And of course, you're going to have to ask your lender to see what the cost involved is and how much you're actually saving, on a monthly basis to see if it's worth it.
Right. And then what can you tell us about people who maybe don't have all of the traditional documentation that you require to get approved? Like maybe they're self-employed, they have cash income, they're unbanked. So maybe they don't have those bank statements, or, they haven't met a threshold to file tax returns. How do you go about verifying someone's income and someone's mortgage worthiness when they don't have those documents that you mentioned?
Yeah, of course. So there's a lot of products, particularly that my company offers. One of them would be bank statement only options, right? So there's different ways and alternate methods of getting approved. It may not be the most traditional loan, right? So we have non-QM loans that will offer you options such as being able to offer that bank statement only profit and loss options. And of course, right now for those who are self-employed, this is probably the best time to kind of get pre-approved because we can help review your tax returns to see how you filed it last year and perhaps help you kind of analyze how you filed it last year so you can decide how you want to file it this year with your accountant. So one of the biggest things is deductions for self-employed borrowers. And that's kind of one of the things that we want to touch base on early on prior to you actually submitting your tax returns and meeting with an accountant. Because we work hand in hand. I particularly work a lot with accountants during this time of year because a lot of my self-employed borrowers are like, okay, Nancy, I want to buy a house this year, so I need to deduct a lot less than I normally would on the prior years. So something to keep in mind.
Right. And then here's a really good question that I don't think we've had in any of these home buying sessions so far. What does an underwriter actually do?
So the underwriter pretty much is going to be reviewing your documents. So as your lender, your loan officer, we review your documents, but the underwriter is going to underwrite the file and scrutinize your documents a little bit more. Their job is to make sure that, your income satisfies what you're going to be paying, like what you're going to be paying monthly for your mortgage. They want to make sure that you are truly qualifying and you're going to be able to afford this home. So they have to work hand in hand with either Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's guidelines in order to make sure that, of course, you're meeting the criteria in order to purchase the home. You don't ever really talk to the underwriter. It's really going to be your lender that's going to be dealing with the underwriter on the back end. We're going to be satisfying any conditions that they may ask for, and we'll be going back and forth with you and the underwriter to make sure we're satisfying everything in order to get you to the closing table.
Wonderful. Well, Nancy, that was so much information. Thank you so much. And as we mentioned, we will be sending Nancy's full presentation out to everyone who registered here this evening. So Nancy, thank you. And at this point, I am going to hand it over to Jim Hall, who is our representative here from Freddie Mac. And, we talked earlier tonight about budgeting and having your credit, in order. And I have a feeling he's going to have some really good tips and programs to help you manage that part of your financial future as well. So, Jim, I'm going to hand that over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Lisa. And always it's a pleasure to collaborate with you. I know we did many of these last year, and I'm really happy that you're continuing this series for the constituents there in Maryland, because it really provides a great service to the people of Maryland. And just sitting here and hearing Kelly and Nancy give their presentations, it's just so valuable for our attendees tonight. It's just to hear, these housing professionals, describe in great detail what the process is about, because it can be intimidating. And so everybody in the audience, I really applaud you for taking the time out to tune in tonight. So, like Lisa said, my name is Jim Hall. I'm with Freddie Mac, and I can assure you, Freddie Mac is not a person. Okay, we are a mortgage company. Okay, but being a mortgage company, I'm not in competition with Nancy and Homespire. We don't make loans directly to the public. We are in the secondary market, so we provide liquidity to mortgage companies like Homespire and the Maryland Mortgage Program, and we create mortgage programs. And then what we do, the mortgages that are made, we purchase those mortgages and then bundle them up and put them into big security. So again, that's the liquidity process, that we put the money back into the market to make sure that consumers like yourselves have the opportunity to obtain mortgage loans. Now, Freddie Mac's been in business 54 years now, and we're a government-sponsored enterprise. We're headquartered in McLean, Virginia. I'm a remote employee. I'm in South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia, and I interface with the realtor associations like Lisa and Maryland Realtors and housing finance agencies and lenders throughout the country. And, we created a mortgage program called HFA Advantage, which is specific for lenders like Nancy to use through the Maryland Mortgage Program. I'm not going to go into great detail on that because I know we have limited time now. I'll let Catherine dive into the specifics on that program. But what it offers to you as a consumer is a very affordable program. If your area median income is below 80%, we've reduced the mortgage insurance coverage on that to keep the mortgage insurance payment, down. We don't have any credit fees or loan level price adjustments for lenders to charge on this program. And, that's very advantageous for you, the consumer, because it keeps the costs down. One of the main pillars here at Freddie Mac is education. And if you have been listening intently to what Kelly and Nancy have been talking about, budgeting, living within your means, that's critical, because you really need to, take advantage of that advice. Now I'm going to share my screen here. And Lisa, please tell me when my slides come up.
You are good to go.
Okay, let me get them into reading view here for everyone. Is that good, Lisa?
Perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, Credit Smart is our financial capability and homeownership educational tool that's actually been around for 20 years. And this is a financial literacy tool for you, the consumer, to use. And it's very interactive. The web address to access this is on the screen. And Lisa and Maryland Realtors are going to share these slides with you so you can have easy access and have this information. And it's multilingual. And what we did, we broke it into two sides. Okay, one's the financial capability side, and one is the homeownership education side. So as far as the financial capability side, that's something that you'll be able to keep through your whole homeownership journey. And we made it very accessible. It's you set up your own dashboard, as you see here on the screen. You can track your progress, track your score, earn badges, set goals. You have a notebook. It's very interactive, and it's not something that you need to do like in one night. The essentials part, like I said, it's like the Encyclopedia Britannica of home ownership. It's something that's going to be there for you always, and if you need it, you can really access it. So as you see here, okay, these are all the modules that you'll be able to access and learn about setting goals, earning and spending, being a savvy borrower, planning to save, and prepare and protect. Now, it's an exciting time when you purchase that house. I've purchased 3 homes in my life. The first home when I was a young man, and my wife and I just got married 34 years ago. We bought our first house. And I can remember my father telling me, Jim, you need a rainy day fund. You need to know how to save money. And I'm like, well, what do you mean, Dad? He goes, well, you're a homeowner now. So it's not about buying a house. I mean, you need to furnish it. You need to buy everything, buy everything for the outside, a lawnmower, snow blower, hoses, et cetera, et cetera. So you got to be able to fit that into your budget and save. And then things happen. And I said, what do you mean things happen? He goes, well, emergencies happen when you buy a house. And lo and behold, like 2 years into my home ownership journey, our water heater went and we had a flooded basement, and he was right. And I did listen to him, and I had saved money, and I was able to get the mess cleaned up, prior to putting in my my insurance claim. But things like that happen, and you got to be prepared for it. And, like we've been saying throughout this whole discussion here, this is probably the biggest financial decision you're going to make in your life. And it's also going to be the greatest asset that you have. So you want to protect that asset at all costs. So you want to make sure that you're budgeting the proper amount to make that mortgage payment every month, but you also need disposable leftover income to make sure you can live and pay your other bills, and obviously, buy food and everything else that you need. So Credit Smart will help you with that. And again, Credit Smart doesn't cost you a dime. Freddie Mac provides this to you free. So, again, you took this hour to be with us tonight. You're getting something that's very valuable here, a lot of words of wisdom, and you're also going to get this, great tool that Freddie Mac provides to you at no cost. Now, the other side of Credit Smart is Homebuyer U. Now, this is for the immediate. This helps you to go through the home buying process and the mortgage application process. And it's only 6 modules. This will take you, it should take you no more than 2 hours. It's available in English and Spanish, and you have to pass a test at the end. It's 80% is the passing grade. And once you pass that test, you get a completion certificate that meets national industry standards for homeownership education and counseling. So if I'm a realtor and if I'm a mortgage loan originator and you come to me and I see that you went through Credit Smart and you achieved this and you passed that, I know you're serious. You're looking to buy a home and you want to get a mortgage. So again, this is part of Credit Smart. It's all done online. You don't have to go anywhere to take this. And my friend Catherine at the Maryland Mortgage Program, they do accept this for their home buyer education requirements. So with that, again, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I know we're a little short on time here, and I want to make sure my friend Catherine has some time to speak to you. But again, take advantage of Credit Smart, and Lisa, thank you for giving me this platform to be able to present this opportunity, for the people in Maryland.
Well, Jim, thank you. And, not only is that going to help you qualify for mortgage programs, but even some of the down payment and closing cost assistance grants that we have available here in Maryland require you to have gone through home buying counseling and home buying education first. So while Credit Smart and the Freddie Mac tools are free, they can put money in your pocket. So you definitely want to check those out. All right, guys, tonight, our final presenter is Catherine Kramer-Dale from the Maryland Mortgage Program, and she's going to tell you about some wonderful loan products that only Maryland home buyers can use. So, Catherine, you're up.
Okay. 5 minutes, not even quite, but I'm going to rock and roll. For everybody on here, I want to congratulate you. It's a new year, and you have made the first step of holding yourself accountable by participating in this program. These classes that are available to you are free. And look, you've met some very key players to help you guide yourself through the process of owning a home. Yes, you need an agent. Yes, you need a lender. Yes, you need Freddie Mac, and you definitely need the State of Maryland Department of Housing. One of the questions that I saw on there, so I wanted to make sure I answered it, is this is our website. I work for the State of Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. The programs that our state agency offers are called the Maryland Mortgage Program. Well, what do? They help you with down payment and closing cost assistance. Most of you might have great credit. You have to have credit of at least 640 or more, your credit score. You have to have some money in the bank saved, but most people don't have a lot of money. And they might be paying rent and thinking, oh gosh, I'm demonstrating the ability to pay rent, which could be a mortgage payment, and I have great credit, I got a good job, I have some money saved, but I don't have a lot of money saved. So what do? You're going to want to reach out to our website. And the first thing you're going to want to do is when you're on the website, which is www.mmp.maryland.gov, you're going to scroll down and you're going to want to talk to a lender. And Nancy is on here because she's one of our top performing lenders. When you click on here to talk to a lender, you're going to say, get started. And you're going to hit get started. And you're going to fill out your name, your phone number, your email address, what county you think you might be interested in purchasing in the state of Maryland, a good time to call, how did you hear about us? And you're going to check this off and you're going to hit submit. And someone like Nancy, who is one of our 136 top mortgage lenders, is going to get your tag. And they're going to reach out to you and they're going to ask you all the questions like Nancy was answering you. I need your pay stubs. I need to know where you work. I need to pull your credit report. I need to see bank statements. I need to know everything in the kitchen sink to determine how much you qualify for in order to buy a home. And then when Nancy, or one of our top lenders that Nancy works for, again, there's 136 of them, and I'll show you the list in a second, then you're going to say, listen, I really want to achieve this goal, but I don't have a lot of money. So Nancy, along with any of our top lenders, is going to show you these programs. We have 6 eligibility guidelines. So in order to qualify, yes, Nancy and her underwriters, as she mentioned, are going to make sure that you qualify for FHA, VA, USDA, and conventional programs. When they determine that you're ready and you're ready to go as a borrower, and then they're going to say, hey, you need some money from the state. We allow people to borrow money from our state agency. You have an interest rate attached to your first mortgage. That's how you make your mortgage payment, right? But the down payment and closing cost assistance that we allow you to borrow, it's a loan, but you borrow it. We don't charge you interest. You don't have to make any payments on it. But when you sell or refinance your house, then you'd have to pay back your first mortgage, and then you would have to pay back the down payment and closing cost assistance money that you borrowed from us to help you get in your house. Our Maryland mortgage programs are phenomenal. When I click on interest rates, you can open up the rate sheet. It'll show you all the different programs that we offer. We offer programs where you're like, hey, I qualify, but I don't need any money from the state. I actually got a gift, or maybe I could pull money out of my 401, or maybe I actually saved enough money, or maybe Nancy and the lender that you're going through, you can actually look to see if there's money in the city or county. See, there's HUD, that's federal. I'm state. Maryland Mortgage Program. You can get money from me, but you can also find out about where there's money available in the city or the county where you're purchasing. So when you're talking to your loan officer, you want to also make sure that they got their hands in everything, that they know who to call, how to get the information so that they can get you as much money that you qualify for, so that hopefully you can come to closing and you don't even have to bring your pocketbook or your checkbook. And that's what we try to do. These are the rates for all the programs. You could say, hey, I need $6,000 to help me with my down payment, or 3%, or 4%, or 5%, or 6%. If you're buying in Montgomery County, Maryland has 2 programs where they'll give you $25,000 to help you with your down payment. You got to pay it back when you sell or refi. We have a program in Prince George's County, which the city of Greenbelt. The lender can help you with that as well. This one is the only product that we currently are running where you get a grant. What's a grant? It's free, F-R-E-E. Otherwise, all down payment and closing cost assistance is money you have to pay back when you sell or refi. This in the city of Greenbelt is $15,000 of free money. You don't have to pay that back. Then we have this program called the Maryland Smart Buy. Oh, this is amazing. We will help you buy a house. If you need down payment, we'll let you borrow money for down payment, and then we'll help you pay off your student loan debt. So if anybody on here has student loan debt, that's huge. We'll help you pay off student loan debt. So Nancy is on here. She's one of our top lenders. You could definitely reach out to Nancy, or you could come onto our main website at any time, and all of our lenders are listed. You would just type in here and say, find a lender. It would tell you you couldn't find it. Pick the first one that says find a lender. Come down here, pick on the printable, downloadable list of lenders, and you can look at any of the lenders on here. We have, like I said, we've got 100 and some lenders, okay? Any lender on here, you could bank with them. You might know somebody who works with them, or somebody could refer you to them. But if you click on talk to a lender, one of our top performing lenders like Nancy will reach out to you. Or you could even be as selective as clicking in here and saying, hey, I want to buy in Allegheny County. So when you click on that, it'll show you all the approved lenders, their logos that have offices in that county. So you could pick somebody very specific. But again, a lot of our lenders are pretty much spread out throughout the entire state of Maryland. I see that there's a question. Good evening, Miss Dale. You can call me Catherine. Will this presentation be emailed? Well, you can always reach out, and I'll put my email address in here, and you can certainly reach out to me. But what you do is you reach out to Nancy and you say, Nancy, I was on this call and I really want to take that first step. And you are one of the approved lenders with the state of Maryland, and I'd like to start my application process with you. I do the trainings for all of the lenders so that I make sure that they are using all the programs, giving you every opportunity to achieve your American dream of owning a home. You've tapped into all the money. So you can actually reach out to Nancy. She is the subject matter expert. That's what I do all day and every day, is train loan officers, processors, underwriters, closers, post-closers, from the top to the bottom, the rooter to the tutor, right? So you can reach out to Nancy. She will help you start your application process. And if you ever have any questions, you can always come to this website. We're very transparent. Everything that you find in here under professional portal is what Nancy's going to offer you as a lender. She's going to show you all the guidelines, first time home buyer or not, making sure you don't exceed our household income limits, making sure you don't exceed our asset guidelines, completing home buyer education, as well as making sure you qualify for our debt to income and our credit score. Again, I don't have a lot of time because I'm always the last one, but it's great because I really am here just to be a resource for you. The subject matters are your agent. We train agents all day and every day. We train the lenders all day and every day. So Jim and I are here as the subject matter experts to make sure that all of our partners are giving you the tools that you need. So if anybody has any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email. I will type my email address in here if anyone certainly wants to call me, or email me and just say, hey, Kath, I took the training and can you assist me to find something on the website? But Nancy can help you. She's got it. We specially picked her to be on this presentation today because she is one of our top performing lenders. So don't forget, get money from the city or the county where you're buying, and definitely come to the Maryland Mortgage Program to get money to help you buy your home in the state of Maryland. That's it.
I mean, Catherine, I know you're going last, but that's a pretty good closing pitch right there. You know, come get money from us. What else do you need? I mean, what else
I
could
don't
you
know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Well, listen, we do want to thank all of you for your time this evening, and we greatly hope that 2024 is your year to become a Maryland homeowner. In addition to the information we are going to send you, which include the recording and the presentations from tonight, we do encourage you to check out marylandhomeownership.com. There are buyer and seller toolkits. There's information that we have about Freddie Mac, about the Maryland Mortgage Program, great Realtor members, great lenders. Please come and visit us. And thank you once again for your time this evening.
Good luck. Happy house hunting.
Good night, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.